Hi, welcome back to Food Travel Shopping Channel, and you're watching Restaurant Remake. Today we are making a very classic and well-known Tonkatsu. If you have been to Japan, you know Tonkatsu. And it's a fried pork chop. And we're gonna serve it with cabbage salad. So let me show you how to prepare the pork cutlet. So basically it's a pork cutlet, right? But they call it, in Japanese, they call it Tonkatsu. Okay, so I have set up a parmesan paper and I'm gonna use my saran wrap here. I'm gonna use my saran wrap and now we're gonna pound the hell out of it. Alright, so using a plastic wrap, that's gonna prevent from the meat splashing all over the place. You're doing it in an apartment, your neighbors might think you're doing something illegal. Right here, so this is like the thickness of our pork chop. Alright, so we're gonna marinate our pork chop here. I have 3 tablespoons of soy sauce. So we have 1 tablespoon of the Shilheng cooking wine. So it's a Chinese cooking wine, so we're gonna put this in. Also, we're going to add some white peppers. So we're gonna sprinkle that on. Alright, 1/2 tablespoon of our sesame oil. I'm gonna add about 1 teaspoon of cornstarch here. And some granulated sugar, again 1 teaspoon. All right, we're gonna give it a good mix. Okay, in this process, it's easier to use our hand to marinate our pork chop. And basically, it's like I'm massaging the pork chop, and we're really letting the marinated sauce to soak into the pork chop. And we want to let this sit for 15 to 20 minutes to marinate, and that should be sufficient. And you don't really need too much of it's not gonna take us, hours to marinate this. All right, so you can see the pork chop is really soaking out my marinade, and you don't see, all the sauces being really absorbed into my pork chop here. Okay, so we're gonna leave this for 15 minutes.
A few moments later.
Over to our bread flour. After we just dip it into our flour, we're gonna bring it back to the egg mixture. And now we're gonna coat it with the Japanese breadcrumbs. All right, so this is the traditional Japanese breadcrumbs, and they would use the same thing with their tempura. So these are basically called the bread flakes. Okay. And there we have it. All right, so we have our temperature of the oil to be 375. Now we can place our pork chop into our deep fryer. I am very happy that I am trying out my new stove wok as a fryer. So let's give it a try. All right, so I'm using a chopstick here just to make sure that the pork is submerged into my frying oil here. All right, so we're gonna fry this until both sides is golden brown. All right, so after 30 seconds, we're gonna go ahead and flip this. All right, so we're gonna do 1 more minute in here. All right, let's flip it one more time and cook it for another minute, and it should be ready. All right, so I want it really even, so I'm gonna flip it 1 more time, and I'm almost gonna take it out. So let's leave it in for another 30 seconds. Layer. All right, so I'm ready to taking it out. So I just want all the oil, excess oil, to drip back into the wok here. At the same time, we're going to turn on our flame here and heat up the oil again. And we want to make sure the oil is going to be 375 again before we put in our next porklet. All right, so in a paper towel with a plate or tray, you can let this sit, and we're just gonna, make sure all the oil is gonna drip down and put it on the paper. All right, so the temperature is coming back up. All right, so yeah, not bad using the wok as our deep fryer here. So if you have a stove pot, you can try out using it as a deep fryer. It works really well. It contains the heat really well. Even though I put the porklet in and it didn't really drop the temperature too much. If you keep the heats in a normal medium high. All right, so 375 hit back into the temperature. So now we're gonna add in our second pork chop and we're gonna fry it. Hey, and if you have more to go, repeat the process. All right, so we're gonna prep our cabbage salad here. All right, we're gonna cut our cabbage right in half. I'm gonna use this side here and I'm gonna cut out the actual stem or the hearts of the cabbage. All right, so with our shredder here, we are going to take our cabbage and we're gonna shred it. I love eating the cabbage this way. It's so good for some reason. And usually when they serve it in Japan, they serve it like this, like a huge mountain of cabbage salad with the tonkatsu. So you're eating, you know, it kind of makes sense, right? We're eating something that is less healthy because it's fried. And then we have our hearty cabbage to balance it out. All right, so let's check out our tonkatsu after frying, and I'm gonna show you how to plate it as well. So extra crispy after frying, and we're gonna take this out and we're gonna go ahead and cut it in pieces first, and then we're gonna put it onto our plates. Okay, let's cut into it and see how it looks like. Wow, super crispy. Okay, I like it to be about this thick. It's like it's like 3/4 inches thick. All right, I don't like it very skinny. So this is how I'm serving it. Okay, there we have it. All right, I just want to show you the inside of the pork here a little bit. Wow, look at that. Juicy, tender, cooked through. Look at this. Can't wait to try it. My mouth is watering. Literally watering. All right, so let's put this onto our plate. I'm just gonna use my knife to transfer it over. Okay, so now we're gonna top it off with the Japanese okonomi sauce. And this is something that you can buy at your local Japanese supermarket, or you can check out actually any Asian supermarket as well. And I'm just gonna drizzle like this. There we have it. This is my version of the tonkatsu. All right, now this is time for our taste test. Now, this is one of my favorite dish in the Japanese cuisine. And Shan knows this, I just like crispy stuff and, you know, fried pork. Hey, why not? 2 years ago, Shan and I was in Japan around this time of the year. When you go around the New Year's time in Japan, most of the restaurant is closed and it's a really big year celebration for them. So a lot of things closed and we couldn't get to the most famous tonkatsu restaurant in Osaka. But we were able to get to eat the tonkatsu at another restaurant. And it was still very good, you know, it's very authentic. And I just can't wait because now I'm able to make this at home. Oh man, get to taste this. Love the cabbage. Shred it like this, for some reason, it just tastes really good. All right, no dressing needed, one bite. So flavorful. The marinated that we did earlier really penetrated in the meat. It's so good. Super crispy on the outside. Well, I hope you enjoy another great video here with my restaurant remake, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.